All this week, we've brought you stories about talking politics across Ohio through the efforts of Braver Angels. Now, we want to show you some of what Braver Angels discussions look like. We asked student volunteers from the University of Cincinnati and their professor and Braver Angels member, Eugene Rutz, to discuss 4 hot topics using Braver Angels rules. These rules include listening first, then speaking. Don't try to change the other person's mind, and don't assume that all group members think the same. We put students in red and blue teams. This example focuses on the issue of government regulation of climate change.
Red side. The Supreme Court has ruled this year that some federal regulations aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions are unconstitutional. So for you, why do you think this is a good idea?
I've heard the argument of national security being brought up a lot, and as we are concerned because climate change is a real thing, I don't think that's disputed. It is how it is being regulated by the government. I'd like to look to the example of Germany. They cut off their nuclear and coal plants and everything else like that to promote these renewable energies. How with Nord Stream 1 going through Russia and now Germany being completely energy reliant on Russia, they're now forced to purchase energy from a government that most of the world can agree is tyrannical.
What I felt about this ruling was that the government needs sometimes, and the administration sometimes needs to step in and put in a spark to pursue corporations and individuals in preventing climate change. We've seen this example in Europe and in Asia and many other countries and continents around the world, that governments had to step in and they created programs, they established treaties with individuals, with corporations, even other countries, to prevent climate change.
At this point, you might be thinking, I've got several good points to make in this conversation, and the speakers aren't using them. That's true of a lot of our political talks in real life. Now remember, the students and Professor Rutz model a Braver Angels style discussion. The primary goal is to listen to understand the other side. Once we listen more to others and show that respect, we're then in a better position to share our ideas on issues like climate change.
I would honestly like to change the direction of this topic and look into the affordability of these, like the Go Green, because I can speak on a personal level that I will purchase products that are recyclable, that I do my research into companies to make sure that I am supporting people who are doing that. But I also understand that not everyone has the financial flexibility to do as I am doing.
I'll invest in BP because they are not only providing current energy through oil and etc. to countries and people that need it to keep costs down, they are also investing in things like solid-state batteries and renewable energies to be on the forefront of the future.
While it is good that there are companies that are taking those steps in action, the reality is that they've had years to do that. This climate discussion didn't just start in 2020 or in 2019. It started a long time before that. And the reality is a lot of companies haven't chose to make that change because it's not always the cheapest change for them. And so if the government has to step in to encourage them to make it, I think it should.
When it comes to affordability, the government has the resources, financial resources, that can provide individuals and companies to counter them. And to also agree with my colleague's point here, that corporations really sometimes would need these resources and interventions to just start off and then building up on that.
We're already $30 trillion in debt here in the United States, so we do not have the financial resources. And if we were to raise that money, we would A, have to raise the debt ceiling, or B, put that financial strain back on the taxpayer to foot that bill.
Just because people in office who won't be here in 10, 15, 20 years to face these consequences are choosing to think about now and not the future of our children doesn't mean that we as voters have to do that as well.
There's a lot more we could say on this topic, and I hope we can get back to it, but we'll stop there and move on to another one.